Greetings everyone. So today I want to talk about the new iPad lineup. Apple has released the new iPad and iPad mini, and to me it seems like things are out of order, but this is my opinion. So let's talk about it right after this. Okay, so everybody already know that the iPad is the original iPad. After that, they created the iPad Air, then the iPad mini, and eventually the iPad Pro. Now, it seems like the iPad itself has become the least powerful iPad, which should be the most powerful iPad, or at least higher than the iPad Air and the iPad mini. And like I said, this is my opinion, because the original iPad came out and it should be ahead of the class as far as those two. The Pro, I can understand. The Pro is more like a powerhouse. So I expect that one to have more feature, cost more, and have stuff that the other iPad doesn't. But when I look at the iPad now, the iPad looks very outdated. It looks like the original iPad 2 that I had. It still has the button to go to the home screen, while the iPad Air and the iPad mini doesn't have any button. So these two iPads have overleaped the original iPad. And I personally believe that the iPad should at least be the one right below the Pro, and then the iPad Air, and then the iPad mini. But Apple chose to take the step, and I understand they want to keep it low budget. That's why they don't put a lot of feature in there. But I think they should at least do away with the button. Even if you don't want to put a powerhouse processor in that actual iPad, at least make it uniform with the iPad Pro, the iPad Air, and the iPad mini, because they don't have button in front and they got very little bezel. So I think they should at least increase the screen size, just like the iPad Air. Instead of 10.2, make it 10.9. And if you still want to keep that lower grade processor in there to make it more appealing to people who can afford the iPad Air and the iPad mini, then if that's the goal, then that's fine. But at least make the bezel smaller and get rid of that home button. Another feature that I think they need to add to the iPad, like every other iPad in the lineup has, is the USB-C connector. Why are they still using the Lightning connector? The Lightning connector is old technology, and the USB-C is much better. It's more universal, and low-cost devices have a USB-C connector. So I think that Apple could at least put a USB-C connector on the original iPad and make everything uniform across the board. And another thing I want to point out is the pencil. Now, Apple still sells the original Apple Pencil, first generation. Every other iPad uses the second generation pencil. And I understand that's something that Apple chooses to make it work with. The Apple Pencil is something you have to purchase separately. It's not something that comes with any of the iPad. So why not make all the iPads capable of using the second generation Apple Pencil? Because they label this iPad as new, but it's still using older technology, which is the Apple Pencil first generation. And like I said, it's not something that comes with the iPad. It's something you have to purchase separately. So each person that purchases an iPad have to choose if they want to purchase the Apple Pencil along with it. Another thing I want to point out is the colors. If the iPad Air and the iPad mini has the option to go to a different color scheme, why not let the iPad has that feature too? At least 4 colors, if not 5, like the iPad Air. Even 3 colors. Just give us a little bit more choice than the 2 colors that we can choose from. I understand they probably engineered this iPad for educational purposes, because school can't afford expensive devices like this, but they can have an educational program like everybody else do, where they buy it in bulk and still get it at a lower cost. So personally, I see the lineup in my eyes. Like I said, this is my opinion. If you have your opinion, you can leave it down in the comments. That the original iPad should do away with this extra bezel and the buttons. Get rid of that stuff and make it the same design, just like the other iPads. And get rid of that Lightning connector and put a USB-C connector. And last but not least, let this new iPad be capable of working with the Apple Pencil second generation, since it's something you would have to purchase separately anyway, and it doesn't come with any of the iPad. And if they still want to keep the lower grade processor in there just to keep the prices low, well, that's their choice. I believe that iPad Air should be lower than the iPad. It should go iPad, iPad Air, then mini. So I believe that the processor that they put in the iPad mini should actually be in the iPad, and the iPad Air should be the next down the line, And then the iPad mini should have the least powerful processor because that seems like a better order. You know, the mini should be the one that has the lower grade processor. And like I said, this is all my opinion. If you have your own opinion on this lineup and how you feel about the iPad, let me know in the comments. Right now, I have the iPad Pro. The iPad Pro that I have is not the M1, but it's the one before that. So what kind of iPad do you have? If you were looking at this lineup, which one of these would you get if you don't have an iPad now? Please let me know in the comment. All right. Thanks for taking the time for watching. Have a good one, and I'll see you next time.